I often talk to people about why we have very few Reo speakers of my peer, because it was something that we weren't brought up with, and it really stems from the Land Wars of 1860 to historically what happened in Taranaki. I live in Waitara, and I was born and bred in Waitara with a family that were very involved in things Māori. My grandparents spoke Te Reo. My father could speak, but he didn't. He felt more comfortable in English. So we weren't brought up with Te Reo in our family. However, we were brought up around tikanga and values of Te Reo Māori, of our whānau. I went to Teachers College in Auckland, and I learnt very quickly of what it was like to be Māori in a very Pākehā society. It was the first time that I had actually instructed racism of any type. We didn't really recognise that at home, but as I've thought about it, it's become more obvious that there were little warning signs. At Teachers College, I took anthropology. We did some Reo. In fact, in my last year, I did a study on the state of Te Reo amongst Māori. The results were that rural areas had retained a lot of Te Reo, whereas in the cities and towns, Te Reo had been lost for many of our people. It got me thinking about using Te Reo and what I was going to do as a teacher. So I did my first year at Waitara, and then my husband and I moved to Auckland, where I taught. I was very lucky to teach at Mangere Central. That's when the area was paddocks, a lot of paddocks, not the area that it is today. And I did lots of things in my class around being Māori. Kapahaka's was part of it, but waiata, hāngi, and I had a lot of children from ihu mātou. So it was finding ways to enthuse our tamariki at that time. In 1972, Labour had just come to power, and my aunt had took over from my grandfather when he passed, Sir Eruera. He passed in 1967, and Auntie Fett became a minister in 1972. So she was one of the MPs when the petition for Te Reo came to be. As a Māori woman, I think she found it extremely difficult in Parliament. She pushed for correct pronunciation, also for Māori broadcasting. I think she found it very difficult to push forward her whakaaro and the whakaaro of her people. The beginning of kohanga reo really was made huge strides for us as educators, because where did children go after that? We had bilingual classes start up in mainstream schools. We started the first bilingual unit at Manukarahi Intermediate in 1989. But prior to that, the Waitara East Primary School, they started their unit about 87. So it was a pathway for those tamariki coming from kohanga reo. Te Reo has certainly been, has grown, but has it grown fast enough? Probably not. Today, I have hope, but as educators, we really have to take that on board. We have a responsibility. With the reo, It's about our children knowing whom they are and where they come from, but also the teachers. We know that we have got people coming behind us as we come to, not the end yet. I've still got a few years left in me yet to work with schools and support them. So, and I do enjoy the things that I do.